On the trail of the deepest secrets of Taoism. Introduction to the forgotten wisdom for a fulfilled life. Imagine a river gently flowing through a landscape. It encounters rocks and obstacles, yet instead of fighting against them, it effortlessly finds its way around. It remains flexible, soft, and yet powerful. How often, though, do we struggle against obstacles in life, despair over things beyond our control, and lose our inner peace in the process? Laozi, the legendary philosopher of ancient China and author of the Tao Te Ching, offers us a different path, the way of the Tao, the natural flow of life. He invites us to live in harmony with the world rather than fighting against it. His teachings are not rigid rules, but gentle guidance on how to find balance within ourselves and the world around us. Today, we delve into Laozi's timeless wisdom and explore how his philosophy can help us cultivate greater peace and serenity in a fast-paced, often conflicting world. Who was Laozi? Laozi, whose name translates to Old Master, is one of the most influential figures in Chinese philosophy. He is believed to have lived in the 6th century BC, although much of his life is shrouded in legend. Some stories say that toward the end of his life, he rode a water buffalo into the mountains, leaving the world behind after writing the Tao Te Ching, a text that remains the foundation of Taoism to this day. Laozi was less of a teacher who laid down rigid rules, and more of a thinker who offered guidance on how people could live in harmony with themselves and the world. His philosophy centers around the Tao, the way, or the natural order of the universe. The Tao is an intangible and indescribable principle, yet it permeates everything. One quote from Laozi captures his approach perfectly. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving. This suggests that life should not be seen as a rigid pursuit of goals, but as a journey guided by the natural flow, free from force or resistance. Laozi's teachings are timeless and universal. They encourage us to fight less and flow more, aligning ourselves with the natural rhythm of life and the universe. The Tao Te Ching, an introduction. The Tao Te Ching is one of the most significant works of philosophy and serves as the foundation of Taoism. Attributed to Laozi, that it consists of 81 brief verses filled with profound wisdom and metaphors about life, the universe, and human nature. Rather than a traditional guidebook, it is a collection of reflections meant to inspire thought and introspection. The central concept of the Tao Te Ching is the Tao, a term meaning the way or the natural order of things. Laozi describes the Tao as something intangible and indescribable, a principle that underlies everything, yet cannot be fully grasped or expressed in words. In his own words, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. This means that the Tao cannot be confined by definitions or concepts. It is an omnipresent force that governs the universe and flows through everything. The Tao Te Ching invites us to live in harmony with this natural order. It encourages us to let go of our need for control and our resistance to the inevitable. Instead, we are urged to accept life as it is and flow with its natural currents. This work is not just a collection of teachings, but also a mirror that helps us examine our relationship with the world and with ourselves. Its wisdom is as relevant to the modern individual as it was to those who read it thousands of years ago. To better understand the teachings of the Tao Te Ching, let's explore some of its most significant verses and their interpretations. The first verse states, "The highest good is like water. Water benefits all beings and does not compete. It flows to places that others disdain. In this, it is close to the Tao. In Taoism, water serves as a metaphor for flexibility, gentleness, and humility. It adapts to any form, flows with the natural order, and avoids resistance. Like water, we too should adjust to circumstances without losing our true essence. The next verse. The Tao is like a vessel that remains full, even when drawn from. The Tao is infinite and never depleted. It symbolizes a source from which we can continually draw, whether it be wisdom, compassion, or energy, without ever exhausting it. Much like the law of conservation of energy, it reminds us that energy is not consumed, but merely transformed. Another verse states, "A tree that wants to grow tall begins as a small seed." Great things arise from humble beginnings. This reminds us to practice patience and trust in the natural processes of growth. Even the most powerful outcomes often begin with a single simple step. The fourth verse states, "Act by not acting. Do nothing, and everything will be accomplished." This reflects the concept of Wu Wei, effortless action or non-action. It is about aligning with the natural flow of life rather than struggling against it. We will delve deeper into this idea later. Another particularly inspiring verse says, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." True victory lies not in exerting control over others, but in mastering oneself and overcoming personal weaknesses. Finally, a profound verse reads, "The Tao loves and nourishes all things, yet it claims no possession. It works, yet expects no gratitude." The Tao represents unconditional generosity. It teaches us to act without expectations and to find joy in our actions for their own sake. Each of these verses offers valuable insights into Laozi's understanding of life and nature. They invite us to reflect on our behavior, values, and mindset, guiding us toward a more peaceful and harmonious existence. The philosophy of Wu Wei, non-action. A central concept of Taoist philosophy is Wu Wei, often translated as non-action. However, Wu Wei does not mean passivity or inaction. Instead, it describes a way of acting in harmony with the natural order, without force or resistance. It is about flowing with the current of life, rather than constantly fighting against it. Imagine a river. It always takes the path of least resistance. It flows around obstacles without exerting force, yet still reaches its destination. This is the essence of Wu Wei, an effortless and effective action that adapts to circumstances. Laozi invites us to ask ourselves, how often do we try to control everything instead of accepting the natural flow of things? In many situations, our drive for control often creates more obstacles than progress. Wu Wei encourages us to let go and trust that many things will naturally fall into place if we stop forcing them. A practical example. Imagine you're struggling to make a difficult decision and feel torn. Instead of tormenting yourself with endless deliberations, you could pause, take a deep breath, and allow events to unfold. Often the best solutions emerge when we align ourselves with the natural flow. Wu Wei is not an invitation to inactivity, but a call to harmonize with the world, achieving more with less effort. Taoist wisdom in everyday life. The wisdom of Taoism offers powerful principles that we can apply to lead a more harmonious life. A central teaching is that softness overcomes hardness. Flexibility and adaptability are often more effective than rigidity and force. Laozi reminds us that a bamboo bends in the wind, but does not break, while a rigid branch is easily snapped. In daily life, this means learning to respond to challenges with adaptability rather than stubborn resistance. Another important principle is less is more. Taoism encourages us to value simplicity and humility. In a world driven by consumerism and excess, letting go of unnecessary possessions can be incredibly liberating. It's not about giving up everything, but rather recognizing the value in what we already have. The connection to nature is also a fundamental aspect of Taoism. Laozi teaches us to live in harmony with nature and to accept its rhythms. Taking a walk in nature or simply observing a sunset can help us find inner peace and release stress. Practical examples of these teachings are abundant. When an unexpected change occurs in your life, accept it instead of resisting it. Or regularly spend time in nature, a place where we often feel grounded again. These small steps can help us integrate Taoist principles into our daily lives and view the world with greater serenity. Laozi's wisdom teaches us that living in harmony with the Tao brings not only peace but also fulfillment. His teachings invite us to integrate flexibility, humility, and flowing with the natural order into our lives. As Laozi himself said, "He who knows the soft will be victorious." How could we apply these timeless teachings to our modern lives? Perhaps you already have your own thoughts or are ready to give it a try. Feel free to share your ideas and experiences in the comments. Your perspective could inspire others. In the future, a mini-series will delve even deeper into Taoism, so stay tuned as we explore these fascinating concepts further. In the next audiobook, we will unravel the myths surrounding Confucius and examine how his wisdom has shaped our understanding of humanity and morality. Subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss upcoming audiobook and to support us in continuing to share valuable insights into timeless philosophies. Until next time, stay flexible and in harmony with yourself and the world.